Welcome, time for some art fun. Today, we're just going to be painting this little koala that I've already sketched out to save us some time. I was really in the mood to do something, shock of all shocks, cute. I love to do adorable little animals, and when I saw this picture on, I believe it was Pexels, but it could have been Pixabay. Those are the two sites where I get my free, royalty-free reference photos. And when I saw this, I was just like, okay, I cannot breathe. This is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. So I downloaded it, and I had that moment that I have almost every single time I sit down to paint or draw something. And that moment is that moment of like intense self-doubt. It doesn't matter how many times I've made something I'm happy with, or how many times I've been excited or impressed by something I was able to do. Every time, every single time, it still is like a shock to me that I was able to do it. Every time. I'm just like, okay, wow, something took over. I don't know where that came from. It's very hard to just accept that you can develop a skill. You can actually get better at things. You can learn how to use tools. Like in this video that you'll see, I'm using all different kinds of brushes. I'm going to go over them at the end individually so you can see them and decide if you are interested in any of them. But I used this detail brush. I used a giant round brush that holds a lot of water to do the overall background. I used that fan brush a little bit ago to do some fur detail. And then I have my blade, my dagger, sometimes I call it a blade by accident, but my dagger brush to do texture. And I just hadn't drawn for maybe a day and a half, which for me, this might sound insane, but for me, that's a really long time. I've been doing art at least one piece a day, pretty much every single day for a year and a half. We're going to be at 2 years in March, and it is late November sitting here today recording this. And so when you're used to doing something every day and you remain shocked every time you're able to do it remotely well, you do kind of feel like this isn't something I just know how to do. This isn't something about me. This isn't something I've learned how to achieve and I'll be able to do it reliably. When you don't really believe or accept that it's yours, that it belongs to you, this skill, when it still feels sort of like magic or spirits or, a million different things you could call it, just like inspiration or a muse or whatever, you just feel like it's an out-of-body experience every time you create something and then you sort of come to and there it is on the page. You don't have that confidence of, oh, it'll be there. Like next time I want to draw something or paint something, I'll be able to do it. I totally know that I'll be able to do it. And that's where I am. And I don't know if any of you can really relate to that, but the way that it is for me when I'm painting or drawing, I'm in what like some people call a flow state. I get completely absorbed in what I'm doing. I'm listening to music. Sometimes I'm singing along to the music while I paint or draw. Sometimes I'm just sort of in another world. I don't know what happens, but time definitely stops. I don't have any sense of how long these things take. When I first started recording for YouTube, that was the first time that I could have any sense of how long art takes me, because I can look at something and think, okay, that'll probably take several hours, or, oh, I could probably do that, quickly, knock that out, and I'm always wrong. I come out of the room and it's dark outside or something. Like I just have no sense of how long things take, or how hard they'll be, or how easy they'll be, or just anything. And part of that is because it's not like I'm at work clocking in, clocking out, watching the clock, thinking about when lunch is, and when you're at work about how long things take you, usually. By the time you're good at your job, by the time you have experience, you probably can say, okay, I can get that, document to you in this many hours. I can get that, task done in this many minutes, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever. And I don't know if that's how it is for most professional artists. If they think to themselves, oh, I've got a pet portrait to do, I can do that in an hour and a half, or I can do that in 2 days. I don't know. I know that when I was doing art just for myself for so long, every single day, I had no clue how long anything took and how intense it was going to be. But number one, and most of all, I had no idea if I would be able to do it. I would just take on a subject and think, okay, I hope this works out, like wing and a prayer, fingers crossed. That's really how I still feel. It's getting a lot better, and especially since I've started this channel and taken on harder and harder subjects and more challenges, that has definitely helped my confidence. It has definitely led me to be able to say, at least in my own head and to myself, you know what, I like my art. I think it's good. I like it. If someone else made this and I saw it on Instagram, I would be hitting that heart. I would be watching their videos if they were making videos on YouTube. I'd be a fan. I'm making the art that I like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm making art that I like to look at. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's fine art or great art, you know, like Van Gogh or Picasso, obviously. But it's definitely great for me. It's great in my life. It's bringing me so much joy, so much happiness. It improves my quality of life when I'm making art, and then it improves my quality of life when I just look at it when I'm done and I like it. There's something about that, about making something you like. And there's something to making things you don't like too. I really don't want to discount making bad art and making mistakes and just trying things and laughing your little tushy off when you see how it came out and you're just like, wow, I never want anyone to see that. You know, I hope no one ever sneaks into my studio and takes a picture of that. That needs to never see the light of day. We all make that stuff too. And that could be a whole other video and a whole other discussion of why that's a good thing to do and why that's a good experience. But I really liked this koala bear. I loved seeing it come together. I loved the sketch. I loved when the watercolor went down. I just really love this painting, and I've been looking at it since I made it and enjoying it. And when I started and sat down and went to go do it, it had been a day and a half since I'd done anything, and I just had such an overwhelming feeling of like, will this work? Can I do it? And I wonder how long it takes for that feeling to stop, or for that feeling to go away, or for your confidence and your skills to like exist at all. So that's definitely my call for comments for the day. Like, do any of you feel that way? How long did it last? Does it ever go away? Do you, does any of this resonate with you? Are you feeling any of this too when you're in your studio, or when you're sitting at your kitchen table, which is what I did for a really long time before we decided to put my things in one room? And like, does this make sense to you? Do you feel that when you sit down to make something? So with that in mind, let's just talk about this piece a little bit. I had so much fun, even though it's almost all watercolor. I always use a little bit of mixed media, so I'll show you at the end, but I did, the sketch in a colored erasable pencil. I actually used a pink one. And my husband's main comment about this is, why is he pink? Why is he pink? Because you can see, the colored pencil through the watercolor. A lot of people will do some kneaded eraser over their sketch and kind of lighten up the sketch. I really don't. I like to see my sketch. It's part of my sort of style, I guess, that I'm developing, that I like to see the sketch underneath. I like to see the layers. I like texture. I like almost to be able to see the steps that were taken. I'm not a photorealistic painter. I'm not going for photorealism. So I like that it's a painting. I like that it's a piece of art and not a photo. I love photography, but that's not what this is. And so I really like that that was his reaction. Like, why is this a pink koala bear? Was that intentional? Yes, it was. I also used my Jinhao fountain pen again with platinum carbon black ink, and here you go. I definitely slowed down the satisfying washi tape peel for you, so enjoy that. But I did use that, and I also used a little bit of watercolor mixed with gouache for the sort of pale green brush strokes that I did with my blade. Did I do it again? My dagger brush on the trunk, on the tree trunk, and I just really like how that layers on. So with the tape off, I'm going to just close up my Daniel Smith watercolor palette. That's what I used, my little, I don't want to say handmade, but like hand selected, I guess, hand arranged little studio Daniel Smith palette that I put together so that you can see the texture and you can see the pink coming through. I really like how vivid this is, but I really love the softness of the background. I like that I laid down that manganese blue hue in the background for almost a sky color peeking through all the greenery, and look how cute he is. This little baby koala bear is so stinking adorable. I was so happy with how adorable it came out. So let's look at some of the materials I used up close. That's the pink erasable pencil. It's actually a mechanical pencil, but the eraser is also kind of mechanical. It comes out and back with that little winder thing. That's my Jinhao fountain pen. I did the eyes and a little bit of the nose and the nails with that. That's my white jelly roll in a size 10. I actually just outlined the nose on the right side with that. That's all I did with it. My Daniel Smith watercolors that I love so much. My absolute favorite brush in my whole studio, silver black velvet size 14 round brush, gorgeous brush. I also have the little boy, the size 2, silver black velvet round brush, great for details. I did sort of the twigs with that. This is that dagger brush that I keep wanting to call a blade. It's a 3/8 size. It's super cheap. It's a Master Touch from Hobby Lobby. And then I've got this Princeton Elite, which is a delicious texture. Like, I love the texture of the handle. And it's my fan brush for some texture, fur texture. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to my channel for more. And until next time, create something cute.